We're just coming towards the end of the London session and approaching the US session. And I just wanted to record this video, very quick video, to just really highlight the reversal opportunity that's now being set up. Through this morning, you can see here the red line, the US dollar. We had a lot of US dollar buying, a lot of dollar strength. And we're on a 15-minute time frame on the currency strength indicator, and you can see here that the dollar now is starting to sell off. And equally throughout the morning, we had quite a lot of negative sentiment towards the commodity currencies, certainly the Canadian dollar, the purple line, and also the Australian dollar. And you can see now, particularly with the Canadian dollar, we've now got some very strong buying coming into that particular currency. And that is counterbalanced by some equally strong selling in the US dollar. And that's why I've got the dollar CAD chart up here in the center. You can see here we're on the 15-minute time frame. And you can see that negative sentiment for the dollar reflected here. And obviously that is reinforced with the strength of buying in the Canadian dollar as well, which is always what you want to see. You want to see this strength in one counterbalanced by weakness in the other. And that is what generates the trends within the currency world. Now, over on the left-hand side, I've got the currency matrix up here, which really does reinforce the current situation. I've got a 10-minute and a 20-minute. And if you've not seen these timeframes before, this is because we're on the MT5 platform, where if you look over to the left here, you'll see that we have this array of timeframes, a much broader array than the MT4 platform. And that's because we have both the standard timeframes available, but also the custom timeframes, which really do broaden out the opportunities across the time window. Now, if we're up on the currency matrix, what you'll see, I've isolated out the Canadian dollar both on the 10-minute time frame here and also down below on a 20-minute time frame. So what you're seeing here is really the isolation of the Canadian dollar, and what the matrix is telling you loud and clear here at the moment is that sentiment towards the Canadian dollar is very strong on the faster time frames. Up at the top, we've got the Canadian Swiss and the Canadian yen. So we've got strong buying in the Canadian dollar there. Equally down at the bottom, where we've got the Canadian dollar as the counter currency, just a strong sentiment. So we've got selling in pound CAD, euro CAD, Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD, and indeed the chart we have up here, which is the dollar CAD, which is right at the bottom of the ranking ladder on the 10-minute time horizon. Now, if we move down to the 20-minute time horizon, it's not such a clear picture, but that's only because, as you would expect across a slower time frame, for this to develop will take a longer period. And if this sentiment, this negative sentiment towards the dollar and positive sentiment towards the Canadian dollar is to continue and this trend to go lower still, as seems to be signaling on the currency strength indicator at the moment, then what you would expect to see on the ranking ladder is the dollar CAD to start to fall down and join the two that are already at the bottom. That's the Aussie CAD and the New Zealand CAD. And equally to the upside, you want to see further strength in the Canadian, certainly reflected in terms of the CAD Swiss and the CAD yen, which is what we have at the top here. But what the currency matrix does is it really isolates out for you the strength of buying or the strength of selling in that currency across that currency's complex. In other words, the analogy we always use is, are we trading with the universal flow of sentiment? Because when you look at a chart like this in isolation, you may be trading with the sentiment or you may not be, and it's perfectly fine to trade against the overall market from time to time, but you really do need to understand that, and the understanding really comes from the currency matrix, which really highlights the sentiment, the flow of the river. So when you're trading on a chart, what the currency matrix does, one of the many things it does, not only does it rank that strength and weakness for you and give you the extremes where those currency pairs are perhaps setting up for reversal themselves, but it also gives you a sense of the sentiment of flow towards the currency and the currency pair that you are trading in your particular time frame. And finally, just to highlight on the chart in the middle, we've got the dollar CAD. This is on the 15-minute time horizon. And I've also added on here the latest indicator we've added and released for both MT4 and MT5, which is the Camarilla levels indicator. and it is the R1, S1 region here. This is what we call the buffer zone, and as the price action enters that zone and indeed moves away down to lower levels or back up to higher levels, that is when you start to see these messages appear with potential opportunities delivered from those regions on the camera levels which are being approached or indeed taken out. So I hope you've enjoyed this particular video. Lots more to come as always. So thanks for watching and see you soon, and bye for now.